start the podcast. All right. I'm going live currently. Here it is. We are live. I'm going to hit play on this for everyone to enjoy. All right, Sergio, I'll get started.
Cool.
Welcome to Haken, an Animal Crossing podcast, your podcast dedicated to all things Animal Crossing. But today it isn't dedicated to all things Animal Crossing. Today, it is dedicated to a specific new Animal Crossing. One might say a New Horizons Animal Crossing. This is it. This is it, everybody. Nintendo has finally shown us Animal Crossing New Horizons. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sergio, as always, hello, how are you doing?
Hi, Chewy. Thank you, Nintendo. You turned things around. There were a lot of feelings going on today before the show, during the reveal, even. Feelings that are different from how we feel now, I think, for those of us that have watched the Treehouse segment. Thank you, Nintendo, for everything today.
Yeah, and before we get too much further, I do want to say this episode is brought to you by Beadlix, one of our newest Patreon patrons. So thank you, Beadlix, for that. You get a special one. You just happen to be in line to be this special E3 episode, so
Nice.
Pretty lucky. Anyways, this is a huge day. Obviously, we've seen the Nintendo Direct. A lot of you were here on... a lot of you were here with us during the actual thing. Also, I'm seeing in the chats on YouTube to turn the video music up. I am not doing that for this live stream because this is just going to be for the podcast and everything. There will be a full version of this podcast on after. This one's just a live podcast show. So just a little thing in case you couldn't hear anything. There's a reason. So yeah, this is mostly just Sergio and I talking about everything that we just saw. So, Sergio,
Yes.
paint me a picture. Take me through your journey of watching this
Oh, my
E3 presentation.
Okay, so there was a lot of excitement in the air this morning. I even said the butterflies in my stomach have butterflies in their stomachs. I think I think a lot of us felt that way, and for a few days actually. So while we're watching the E3 Direct, there's actually not a lot of talking by people, by like Doug Bowser or anyone else. There's just a lot of different trailers coming up right after the other, which was pretty cool. But you also got a lot of flashbacks from last year E3. Another game. It's not Animal Crossing. As soon as you saw that it was like a darkish looking game or something that definitely didn't look like Animal Crossing, it was like, oh man, another one. It's not it. Until they finally showed it, and at first when I saw it, I was confused. I was concerned. It didn't look like a full scope Animal Crossing game, and it looked a little bit dull or like not boring. It didn't look pretty in a way. At least
Yeah.
the style of what was going on. And then we got the date, and it was something that a lot of us weren't expecting. Most of us, I want to say, March 2020.
Yeah. It's a lot later than we thought it was going to happen. So it's pretty crazy that we're waiting so long. So I guess how did you feel like directly after it? Like, could you focus on any of the games shown after Animal Crossing?
Oh no, and I still haven't. I know like a lot of details of things that happened that I want to go back and check more in detail later. But no, the game is Animal Crossing, and that was the feeling since the initial trailer looked a little bit like concerning. That was the feeling for a while until thankfully they showed more during the treehouse. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, this has been a day about Animal Crossing as far as I'm concerned, and a lot of us are.
Yeah, and I kind of felt that same kind of thing where the sizzle reel started happening probably shortly after Animal Crossing, and then at that point I was just like, I can't pay proper attention to this. Like, I'm
Yes.
only thinking about Animal Crossing.
Yes.
And I was trying to like say those things and then like keep up with the sizzle reel, and then I was like, nope, I'm giving up. I'm gonna talk about Animal Crossing now. And I couldn't wait for it to be over so I could just rewind and go through
Yes.
that trailer over and over and over again, which I did.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, I guess for me, I'd say I felt similar, where I was kind of confused at the new look. I wasn't, I guess, expecting the look. Like it looks similar to New Leaf. It looks definitely, I guess, higher quality, but right
Mhm.
away, like I know that I noticed the lighting is definitely better. It seems like
Yes.
they really worked on shadows and that sort of thing inside of the world. We see the world's like the trees, the shaking in the wind. So there's some sort of dynamic weather at least, or weather that like has some physics in the world, you know?
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
but yeah, I think outside of that, I was just like still getting used to the look that we saw. Um,
Mhm.
and so I was also very scared at first because it opened up by saying, I mean, we had the voice acting thing, which I think actually worked really well. I think that as an intro was pretty good. I think they got a good voice for that intro. Um, but then after that, I was like, oh man, we're flying on a plane. So we're arriving to this place via plane and we're going to an island, which I have been torn about from the beginning, but I was like, you know what? Animal Crossing has always had a beach implemented into the world. Like there's always been a beach area, there's always been kind of an island looking area. So for me, uh, I don't know, I was not for the idea, but I thought, you know, they could still have kind of that foresty feel where because it is animal forest in Japanese, you know,
Right.
and
Right.
that's the feel that I really love about Animal Crossing. So I had a feeling that it could work in some way.
Mhm.
And so after going through the visuals and looking at it more, I was like, oh well, here the snowy section showed it the most, where I was like, this seems like a forest to me.
Yes. Yes.
Because you have more of the pine trees, the cedar saplings, as we have known to call them, you know? Um,
Mhm.
so that looked better to me. But it also took me back to like when New Leaf was first revealed and everything was different with New Leaf. Like if you go back and watch the original footage of New Leaf, you'll see that like the trees look different, the flowers look different, a lot of things just look different. So
Yes, that's right.
so this game, like, it's giving me that same feel where things look different.
Yeah, yeah, and the it's the game looks really nice, but I think the issue was in the at least in the reveal trailer, it kind of didn't have like a pop. It was missing a little something, and I think later on when they showed it more in the treehouse segment, it looked a lot better. And imagine how it's gonna look. Let's see, 9 months from now. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I feel like the treehouse segment was fun, and it's playing right now for anybody watching on YouTube. During this podcast, I have the treehouse segment in the background, so you can see a lot of the different things that the game has going on.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
but I think after seeing the treehouse, we just got a better idea of what to expect, and because during the trailer, I was really analyzing it afterwards, and they're kind of doing what I wanted to happen, which is essentially like you're thrown into this place and it's kind of like it needs some work. It's rough. You know, it's rough around the edges. There's not a lot developed yet. And that is kind of what I wanted this game to start out as. Because
Yes.
I know you and I have talked about this a lot, and I have consistently said I want this game to give me like at least 3 years of gameplay.
Right.
And I feel like that's what they're going for at this point. I feel like they want you to start out like with the bare minimum and
Yes.
then grow from there, which I think that's a huge deal. I think it's a really new take on Animal Crossing. I know a lot of people really like going into kind of a starter town, kind of a this is going to be a nice little cozy neighborhood that you're moving into. But now it's just
Yes.
like there is no cozy neighborhood here yet. Like you have to work to make it that,
Yeah.
and
There's. Mhm.
and that's what I wanted.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. There's hardly nothing there. I wonder where you're going there in the first place. Who knows? There might be like a little slight story to that, like how New Leaf begins. how you become the mayor there. But for sure, you're starting from scratch, and that just means the game is gonna have so much value. They even said during the treehouse segment, this is not the beginning of the game, but if you look at it, it kind of looks like it. So imagine how it's actually going to start. It's gonna be nothing.
Yeah, it's really, really like it's bare bones. Like,
Right.
and that's all I really wanted. I wanted to start out in a place that just I knew going in, this was going to be a big project for me to turn it into one of my really nice new leaf towns, you know?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, really quickly, I wanted to ask you, what are some things you liked that you saw?
Well, for instance, for starters, the dynamic weather. It looks really nice, and they're really using it in every way they can. You saw the clothes hanging, and there's wind moving them, moving the leaves, moving the clouds. There were shadows in the winter scene. It looked really nice. So they're really making everything look really detailed. I also liked how it looked like the flowers weren't as predictable as we have come to be used to. Especially the weeds. There were some that looked like you couldn't even pull them. They were just there for like I like living decoration, I guess, of the forest part of the town.
Hmm.
So yeah, they're really embracing the little details of the visuals of the town.
Yeah, and you're spot on. Those little weeds, like there's a big variety of them versus
Yes.
like we're so used to seeing like the two little pieces of grass that just happen to stick up more than the rest of it, you know?
Yes.
And that now thinking back to that, I'm like, that's always been very simple. Whereas in this game, like we're getting weeds that are full on weeds at
Yeah.
this point, and they're all over the place, and
Yes.
they don't look bad. Like I have a feeling I'm gonna want to keep some of them, like maybe have a
Yes.
wild area as they have in Pokemon, or a Breath of the Wild area, where things are just kind of wild and growing and kind of crazy, like having some
Yeah.
shrubs and things. So, and I feel like that
Oh.
adds to like the foresty feel. I think there's a lot of potential with what we've seen on screen so far.
Yes.
um,
Yes.
yeah, I guess for me, what I really liked was I always love the segments that take you through different seasons, for example.
Mhm.
And there was some really interesting things that we saw in the seasons. For one, there's a new item, which is kind of a vaulting pole, I guess, that you can use to cross the river,
Yes.
which that is in one way really awesome because it tells me that like we're not going to start with bridges in this game. Like that's
Yes.
going to be long-term goal into the future when we can build a bridge, but we can get this pole to reach the other side of our river for now. So that was one thing that they showed. After that, we saw an autumn scene, which I love autumn. um, but there was a lot of really great stuff to digest in that scene. Um, I guess the most interesting to me was when they dug up the tree, because even going through the Nintendo Treehouse, it didn't really look like you could cut down the trees.
Right.
It looked
Yes.
like the new mechanic was you hit a tree with an axe, and instead of cutting it down, you just get some wood from it. So we're collecting materials in this
Right.
game. And so when he dug up the tree, you could tell it turned into a little tiny tree. And then they put it probably in their pockets. So I'm assuming you're going to be able to transplant trees versus, cutting them down and having to replace them completely.
Yes. So basically, Animal Crossing has the opposite of Dynamax for all the items.
Yeah, everything shrinks, Dyna minimizes. And then directly after that, of course, we got the next season, which was winter. And I gotta say, winter is looking pretty nice.
Yes.
I loved the snow, how it looked on the trees. I loved the visuals of um, just the snowball that you were rolling around, and there was little characters talking in the background like that. That gave me the most Animal Crossing feel
Yes.
within the game, the whole trailer. Um, so I feel like things look updated, they look different, and it doesn't quite look like the Animal Crossing we're used to, but it does have those elements in there.
Yeah, and I was thinking that part of the reason for that is that's because there's so many changes that they're adding. I know you touched on the fact that there's a lot of crafting going on. The way I
Hmm.
see this is gonna take them a lot of changes to the formula and to the Animal Crossing engine that they had. So making all those changes and making sure they don't break other things in the process, I think that's what's taking time, and that's why the game is looking maybe a little bit like it could use some visual work, visual refinements, or
Hmm.
polish is the right word. So I think that's what they're going to be working on now, now that they have more time, and of course the localization. But it looks like they got the engine down and the new features that they're adding to it. It looks like everything works already.
Yeah, it's really looking like they took the time to really just transform the gameplay of Animal Crossing, like you said. And I agree, like it doesn't look like a fully polished version of the game quite yet. I think there's
Yes.
still some work that they're going to be doing for this, and that's kind of probably where the weight comes from. Um,
Yes.
but it sounds like the team they're hard at work on it. They're obviously doing a lot of translation stuff. So yeah, I'm excited to see what they have coming. And we already saw like there's 8-player multiplayer. That's a big thing. We can wear
Yes.
backpacks, but do those backpacks work? I gotta know. It
Right.
is so far from judging from what we've seen. I don't think so quite yet, but there's a chance. I mean, it
No,
could be a late game improvement.
yeah, oh no, they have to because there's you're gonna be doing so much resource collecting. We're gonna need the space.
Yeah, definitely. And then outside of that, I'm trying to think of what else we saw. Oh, the other most important thing for me, I always wanted not only to start with pretty much nothing and have to work up to a much bigger town, I also really wanted a yard in this game. So
Yes.
they definitely took advantage of showing that in all this trailer. Like they showed us all of these yards, all of these things that you can do, like essentially take every single item and place it outside. That's a
Yes.
big deal. Like it doesn't seem like there's any limit to that at all.
Right. And I think the trailer itself, I don't know, I feel like it could have done a better job of explaining that because when I first saw it, I thought, "Oh, is this it? Is this Animal Crossing like a yard simulator and that's it?" But they showed it a lot better doing the tree house. The fact that you can put furniture outside, you can have so many different setups in the paths look different too, the way you implement them. So for sure, it's like starting with nothing and building this little tent with a yard around it, and who knows, building up to who knows what, a lot more.
Yeah, and you mentioned paths as well. Like that was a huge addition. It looks like there's more of an in-game path system implemented into this, and I think we've only seen one aspect of it so far. I have a feeling we're going to get like actual path designs from Nintendo programmed into this.
Yes. Mhm.
So, yeah, I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of things like in the future. This is to me, this is literally like maybe first month of the game, first like week of the game gameplay that we're seeing. It didn't seem like they're showing too much to the game so far.
That's right. That's right. We know for sure there's going to be a little bit more shown tomorrow, but it's looking really good. And sadly, like we said, it's coming out in March 2020. That kind of opens the possibility of seeing it either on a regular direct or having its own Animal Crossing direct. I'm guessing sometime in the fall.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about this a little bit. Let's talk about the release date. Let's talk about what we can expect from here. And I think this. Thank you for leading off into this. I I think we're probably going to see this again in the fall. I hope so, but they've skipped us over before. So I could see them skipping us over, but I think like I feel like we can expect seeing this game a little bit more regularly
Oh
now.
yes, yes.
Um, so I mean, for now, I would love to see it, say September, whenever they do a next direct and everything, maybe get a new trailer. Um,
Right.
just because I don't know, like when are you gonna talk about this game? I hope soon. but
Right.
but also the March 2020 release date, 3/20/2020.
Yes.
So 3/20s in case E3 20s. In case anybody was wondering, but that's when this game is coming out. And I mean, I have put it at the end of 2019 this whole time. I was like, if it's coming, it's gonna be late for us. So
Yes.
December was always the date, and luckily, like I figured, I went into this direct thinking I think we're gonna see this game, and it's mostly because regardless of if it's delayed or not, I think they'll just
Yes.
show it
Yes.
and let us experience it. And so I don't know. I think the delay is a bummer. It's 9 months and 9 days away, so I've already started the countdown.
Yes.
But yeah,
we go from one countdown to another.
yeah, we've counted down to this day for so long, and now we have to count down a little bit longer. I'll do a full count of how many days we'll have to wait between reveal and release of this game, but it takes a long time. It takes quite a while to make an Animal Crossing game,
Yes.
which can be surprising because it's like it looks pretty simple, but there's a lot to it.
Oh no, yeah, that shows you how much different it is, and that I think that's a good thing. I think it's gonna be worth the wait. Um, for the longest time, I wanted, whenever we saw the game, I wanted the delay. I'm sorry, the silent treatment, the fact that Nintendo hadn't shown anything. I wanted it to make sense. And honestly, right now, I think it does. I think I can see why they didn't want to show anything. It would have kind of revealed the bigger changes that they're doing. So it all makes sense, and the wait makes sense. And we have to, but we're going to try to be patient. We have to wait.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be hard to be patient, but luckily, I mean, we're getting a lot of footage this E3. I'm going to be watching it over and over this whole time as this game comes out, so I'm excited for that. I'm disappointed that we have to wait so long, but at least we have a date. Even Luigi's Mansion 3 didn't get a date, and it's
Yeah.
still coming out this year apparently.
Right.
That's weird to me.
Yes.
Um, so that I feel like that's pushing it a little bit further back than I thought. I mean, October would still make sense, I think, but yeah, who knows?
Right.
Um, so here is something important that I think we should talk about. I've been seeing it pop up in the chat a lot here on YouTube. I don't know if you're watching the Discord chat or what you're seeing there, but here's an important question that everybody's asking. So far, we've only seen Tom Nook and then Timmy and Tommy Nook. So just the little Nooklings and their Nook daddy. Actually, it's a Nook uncle, technically.
Yes.
I think canon, he's uncle, right?
Yes.
But we have not seen any other special characters. And I'll tell you, I've from watching this footage, I've only seen 2 other villager maps in this game. Or villager houses, and they've shown Hamlet's house and Fuchsia's house. So only 2 villagers so far.
Mhm.
So not too many reveals as to what characters are going to be there. The trailer actually had a lot more, but in the treehouse they only had 2 on their map, which is like that's the lowest number of villagers we ever had to start with.
Oh,
Um,
I see on the map. Right.
but the question is from people is, what do you think about the other special characters? Like, are they missing? Are they going to be in this game? Is it going to be shown? Did I lose you, Sergio?
Oh
Are
no,
they
I'm
going to
sorry.
be shown?
No, I what I'm thinking is that they might move in after. So basically, you're gonna start with a really deserted island, if this is the approach that Nintendo takes, and then you kind of have to build a name for it, and then the special characters are gonna start wanting to go there, and then eventually, hey, I like this place, I'm moving in.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't know if you cut off for me. Were you done?
Yes, no, I'm good.
Okay, sorry, it just stopped abruptly. Um, but yeah, no, I get the feeling that like I said, not only is this town starting with the bare minimum, like super bare bones, like you really have to build it up. I think you're gonna have to get it to a point where those other shop owners appear,
Yes,
which that's something I've always wanted.
yes, it's gonna
I
add
really
more value to it.
yeah, I really appreciated in New Leaf that we didn't start with every shop in the game.
Right.
Like we had to work up to it, and now we literally start with no shops in this game.
Yes.
So I have a feeling we're gonna be really, really working up toward it. So that's gonna be insane. Um, and yeah, thus far it's not. I'm also seeing some people comment that who's mayor though? It doesn't seem like we
Right.
have really a mayor role. It seems like more of like we just bought an island and now we're developing it and we're just in charge of this place. And the better it gets, maybe more people arrive, more animals, more shops open up, you know?
Right, right. And the press release, or at least the website listing of the game, that one doesn't even mention anything about major or ordinances. But if it is your island, or if at least you're the one developing it, hopefully you're able to set the rules, the hours, and I'm guessing it's going to be a little more than what you could do in New Leaf.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I had another question for you, Sergio.
Yes.
Is there because I know I have my worries. I have one very specific worry about this, but do you have any worries about this game so far?
I guess one that comes to mind is how limited the game might be because we haven't seen a lot of what the island can do. So basically, if this is the majority of what the game is going to be, mostly island focused, your town is mostly like by the shore type of thing, without like a city portion or a lot of buildings and shops and cool things to do. I mean, I get it's a different aesthetic or a different approach to the series, but I hope there's a lot more to it. I hope you start in an island and eventually you build up to a more traditional Animal Crossing town. That would be amazing. So, if it's mostly just island, that could be a little limiting.
Yeah, I think for me, my worry is kind of along those lines because I do think like the area seems small right now.
Right.
It seems like there isn't too much space. And the worry that I have specifically with that is that right now we have about we have the ability to have 8 people live in our town. So how small is this place going to feel
Right.
once we have all 8 people? And
Eh,
so, and then on top of that, like we mentioned earlier, like so far we've only seen Tom Nook. We haven't really seen any more villagers or shop owners come in. So it seems like what is going to happen with that? Like, how is our space going to feel once this place becomes populated? You know?
Yes, it's the 8 players, up to 8 players, and also the actual animal villagers, and then the shops, the special characters, maybe their homes too are gonna be separate. So I think it would have been really nice if Nintendo showed like a more advanced town, so we could see what we could potentially build up to. They might be saving that for a direct or maybe for tomorrow in the treehouse, but if we see that, I think that's gonna put this concern to mostly to rest.
Yeah, I hope we do. And we got kind of a very small taste of that at the tail end of the trailer, where we got to a little short walk across another part of town that showed another house, and there was a fence around it, and they had their own surroundings, you know?
Yes.
Like we got a little taste of that. So yeah, I'm wondering what it's going to look like when this place gets bigger. And now that I'm thinking about it, we do have kind of the square area that we saw that has the bulletin board. It has Nook's shop. Like,
Yes.
what if that's like the designated area where shop owners are going to be opening up? Or maybe, I don't know. I feel like that could be something that increases. We haven't seen like the northern portion of the map. They
Right.
specifically avoided showing us the airport. I saw them walk like right past it, and they didn't
Yes.
show us the rest of the airport. Um, so there's a lot of stuff they haven't shown us yet. They haven't shown us how we can get up the cliff. Maybe we can use the pole vaulting pole to climb up the cliff. Maybe there's another item that lets us climb up the cliffs before we can actually create a path that goes up there, you know?
Right.
So I think there's a lot that we have yet to see, but I don't know. I'm glad that it's a mystery right now, and we'll have like a small drip feed of information. Um, but I'm just excited to see more of it, you know?
Yes, and that's a good point because we weren't, I don't think a lot of us were expecting such a big change to Animal Crossing. I think what we're seeing is definitely for the best. We're already talking about how much extra value and extra playtime it's going to take to get your island to a more traditional Animal Crossing experience. So we're all for it. I know you wanted that. You're going to get a lot, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, they did close that trailer by saying that that first little upgrade, I'm assuming it's the first, was almost 50,000 bells. And
Yes.
at very, I don't know, we eventually saw the character in the treehouse get some money, but you straight up start with 0 bells. So they're going
Yes.
for it. They're like, you have just invested in this huge plot of land, and guess what? It's going to take you quite a while before you can get more.
Right.
So yeah, do you have any ideas for what we'll see in the future from this game?
I think they're gonna start little by little showing more areas of a more developed town. I guess they want us to sort of embrace this new approach, mostly with the island mentality, and mostly focusing on your on the outdoor of your tent and like a smaller scale or a shorter pace expansion of or building of your town. Or I wonder if it's gonna be just your island instead of your town. But they want us to focus on that because it's the new change, it's the new feature, and eventually they might start showing a more traditional Animal Crossing town and more of the special characters that we kind of expect.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really hoping we see how they plan on, because I mean, sure, this game is in development, but it also seems like our gameplay will be development, you know? Like we're going to
Yes.
be developing this place for a while. So I'd be interested to see like are there going to be other islands that we can go to, or is there going to be just more stuff, more places that we can unlock to grow? Or does our current island get expanded? Like maybe we can buy more land and build a bigger island, you know?
Right.
Because you know, Nook's incredible. Like the things he's building. Also, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, Nook specifically in that first reveal trailer said he's hard at work on finding us a place that we can call home.
Oh, yes.
And I mean, I don't know how hard he worked because it doesn't seem like he did very much to get this place ready for people. Like, we're going to have to put in the work. And Nook is just like, he's got the money to buy some land. And he's like, here, you can buy this land for me. From me. He's got resources. But I don't know. I still love it. I still am very happy to get some debt from Nook.
Yes.
Yeah. So, was there anything else you wanted to talk about regarding this game?
It's cool. I know we mentioned it on a previous episode that you have a phone in the game and you have different applications. So now we're wondering if you're gonna have Pocket Camp in there too.
Yeah. I mean, there is the phone thing, so I don't know. I mean, there is crafting from Pocket Camp, so who
Yes.
knows if we can get those crafting materials, or because so far we've seen like wood and rocks, and in Pocket Camp we kind of have wood and steel, not exactly rocks, but
Right.
yeah, it seems like there are some things that they've adopted from Pocket Camp, but I don't know. Overall, I guess we'll see. Um, but yeah, I guess I don't know how long we were going to make this episode. I mostly just wanted to talk about our first impressions, and we didn't really plan too much out. But I guess let's end with our final thoughts on this game.
Hmm. I mean, bottom line, I think that delay makes sense, and we have to wait. I'm gonna, we just have to be a little bit patient. It does open the possibility of playing some games between now and March. But what we want to see is coming. It's looking really, really nice. And I think the main new feature of crafting and utilizing resources to build your town and your island. Oh man, I'm already loving it. And also the multiplayer, of course. So we're already seeing some big changes. I'm embracing them. It's a little sad that we have to wait so long again, but I think it's gonna be worth it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Yeah, I think those are good. I guess my final thoughts are, at first, I was confused. I wasn't quite sure how I felt about it yet. I wasn't sure how I felt about the look and everything.
Mhm.
But as I look at the trailer a little bit more, as I watch the treehouse things, I think more and more I'm so ready to get my hands on this game. And I'm really excited to see if it does end up being a game where I get to start with nothing and then really grow this place and get some amazing things. So, yeah,
Yes.
those are my final thoughts. I can't wait to see more. I'm sure we're going to see more throughout this week at the Nintendo Treehouse. I will keep my eyes peeled for any more footage that we get. They have already promised that we're going to see 8-player multiplayer, so you
Yes.
can look forward to that. I really wonder how they're going to capture that. So it should be fun. Maybe they'll show off the airport at that point, show kind of how traveling between islands works. So yeah, there could be a lot to see. Um, but
Yes.
oh, last thing I wanted to say, it looks like everything you pick up automatically stacks, which is
Yes. That's right.
a huge deal. I think a lot of people really wanted everything to auto stack. So I'm very excited about that. That's a big reveal for us Animal Crossing fans.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
but yeah, we're waiting till March 20th, 2020. It's quite a long wait. Like I said, we have 9 months and 9 days. I think it's 280 something days away, which is a little bit longer than we had to wait for this to finally see this game. So
Yes.
about double the time that it took Super Smash Brothers to be revealed, to be announced and come out. But
Oh, that's right.
that's okay. We're not too far behind. So this year, I guess Sergio, you'll be able to enjoy Pokemon prior to this
Yes.
release. Will you be able to enjoy Ori and the Blind Forest at this point?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure.
So there we go. We get a little bit more time to enjoy the games that are coming. But once this game comes out, you better now you have a calendar ready. You can get scheduled. Sergio and I were going to be planning our playthroughs throughout, and probably a lot of you are coming back to Animal Crossing. A lot of you are first-time Animal Crossing fans, so we'll be sure to give our advice and what we know about Animal Crossing thus far that could possibly help you, because it's got that real-time clock, so it's a different type of gameplay, and it'll be a whole new experience for all of us. So I'm really excited about this.
You know what? They didn't show any nighttime though.
Yeah, there was one little clip during the trailer. I remember that had nighttime,
Oh, okay.
and what was really cool about that clip was it was kind of a sped up clip, like time lapse type of thing, and
Oh,
it did show off that like we have cloud shadows, so if there's any cloud cover, we can expect to see the shadows on the ground.
yes.
So it's pretty cool. I think it's going to be pretty awesome.
Oh man,
Um,
yes, for sure.
yeah, and so yeah, we're going to be talking about this game all week. I'm sure we're going to have some more things. I'm going to start analyzing the trailer this week and hopefully have a big analysis for you all on Friday. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. I'm going to go through all of these details. Kind of some of these that we talked about will come up, but I'm sure I'm going to find more once I finally dig into it. Like I didn't even mention, like, if you look closely, you can tell there still is kind of the triangle grass pattern existent in this world.
Yes.
So there are a lot of like little things that are familiar to Animal Crossing existing, but overall, this looks like a huge revamp to the system, a huge update to what the game was before.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So did you have anything else to say before I close out, Sergio?
Yes, I just wanted to thank everyone that has been with us. Regardless of where you joined us, it's been a journey for sure. It was a journey to last September when they first showed us that they were working on a game, another journey to today when they finally showed it, and now it's part three of this crazy long journey for the game to actually come out. But this is like a game changer, or this is really gonna change Haken in a way. We have a title, we have specific things to discuss, to plan, and so do you, our listeners. You have a lot to look forward to, and now it's official information, and we have a date, most important, so we can start planning everything. And I thank everyone that is going to be part of this last segment of the journey with us. It's going to be exciting. We'll make it the best and hopefully the quickest that we can through Haken and bringing you all the content that you're looking forward to so that once the day comes, we'll all be there ready to go.
Yeah, and you're totally right, Sergio, especially with thanking everybody because we've been doing this show since literally 2017. Um,
Mhm.
between 2017 until now, there was really nothing super substantial to go off of until just the end of last year when we finally knew this new game was coming. So
Yes.
um, that's a big deal. It's been pretty crazy doing this show so long without a new game to talk about, but now that we do, it's going to be so fun.
Yes.
Especially like seeing all of you get excited and everything. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. So yeah, thank you all for sticking around. Anybody who's been around from like the very beginning, which was back in I want to say September 2017.
Yes.
Um, it's been it's been a long road, and now we're finally here. We're opening up to new horizons, and we're going to see where this takes us. It should be
Yes.
pretty great. All right, everybody. Well, thank you all so much for listening. If you want to be part of the conversation on all things Animal Crossing, please join our Discord. I have a link in the description of this podcast. It's totally free to join. You don't have to be a patron. And if you do join, you can get Sergio and my friend codes. If you do want to become a patron, visit patreon.com/ChewyPlaysNintendo. For just $1, you can support our show, you can get tons of cool things, you can see our current goals to improve the show and our content. We try to really make it worth it because we appreciate your support, and you have all supported so much lately. We reached a goal. We're having new art every month now, so it's going to be big, especially with this new game. And if you're listening or watching on YouTube, let us know what you thought about this game. Leave a comment about how you feel about the new art style, all of the new gameplay, all the I guess the new setting essentially, which is a deserted island, which is very new. So leave a comment on that. For those of you listening live, this will be up later as a full video where you can do that. So yeah, your comments will be tracked once you leave it there. And please leave a review of the show wherever you're listening. It helps the show gain some visibility and allows our community to grow. And once again, thank you for listening, and we hope you have a great week.
Goodbye, everybody.
Oops.